Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Otafest podcast. I am your host, Nancy, and I'm here with Jay and Angelo.
Hello.
It's us.
Again.
They said it couldn't be done.
And before we get started, we've got a couple of announcements, really just one big one. It's your reminder to not do it again. You've already missed the first tier of prices for Otafest weekend passes, so please get your weekend passes at the early bird price of $59.37 at otafest.com. Please don't miss your second chance to have a discount.
Save your money at Otafest for Otafest.
Don't get tier pricing hangover. Trust us.
Do you and I want to go to SakuraCon
We know
next
this.
year?
Yeah.
And I realized that I have missed multiple early bird pricing tiers for their tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
To the point where, like, it is a matter, because there's two tickets,
Tisk.
of, like, had we bought them 3 months ago, we would have saved, like, cumulatively $40 US between the two of us.
Oof. Big
Bro,
oof.
we also missed like another set of tickets. We didn't even look, I feel like, for Rocky Horror Picture Show because Halloween's coming up and we wanted to go.
We have a local friend who's like, we've never done Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do it. I want to go. And quite frankly, I know the movie. I've seen the movie.
I love that movie.
But Halloween, Rocky Horror Picture Show, there's like an event around it.
Yeah, there is.
And I only know of this from the Drew Carey episode.
Really?
Yes.
I have also never done the Rocky Horror Picture Show event.
Let's do it next year.
So I also have not experienced this.
And so we were all talking, and we wanted to set it up. We wanted to go. We had not picked out a day. We just knew that it was happening
ago.
The weekend, but we never picked out the specific day that we were going to do it because we didn't know what our schedule was going to look like. And in the case of me and Dio, we were in Japan. Our friend was down in Las Vegas last weekend, so they weren't able to properly decide anything. Jay wasn't certain what their work schedule was going to be like. And so we're finally looking at it. We're like, okay, we got to do this. We got to decide on the day. It's sold out.
Yep. But I should have anticipated that, I feel like. It's a very popular show in town, and I think they're the only theater who does it. So.
Oof.
It is okay. There will be Halloween next year.
We can always try and do something ourselves, but it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Like, I will say that being in, the dark theater environment, having all the little props and bits and pieces with, like, 80 to 200 other people, there's a group sort of approach,
All that I know is that you're supposed to dress as a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania and dance to the time warp.
There's more to it than that, but you've got the basics down.
Wonderful.
I just want to go
because all of you have never seen it. No, but because all of you have never done the show. You're all virgins.
I just want to go experience and see it. I don't necessarily need to participate, but I want to see what it's like.
No, I feel like if you go, you go.
Look, there's at least you get one pass to actually go experience it, and then the next time you have to participate. But like, you got to get at least one where you get to at least see what everyone does and how it all works.
I got thrown into it. I never even saw. The first time I watched Rocky Horror Picture Show was at that theater.
Oh wow!
Getting marked as a virgin, and we did the whole thing. So
wow,
you gotta jump right in and do the time warp again.
I guess we're going as virgins next year.
I suppose so.
Let's look.
But happy
ahead.
Halloween, everybody! It is November.
I hope you all have a
now.
great sugar hangover right now.
If not, I hope you're on the way to the store to get that discount Halloween candy. It is disappearing quickly.
Yeah, definitely. If it's not already gone. Like, I know people who line up at 8 a.m. when shops open and they go and they buy up all the leftover Halloween candy. It's crazy.
There is actually something
weird.
that I've been noticing over the last couple of years as far as like sale Halloween candy goes.
Yeah.
Usually, like by the time November hits, by the time Halloween happens, most of the candy is already gone. They stopped ordering it weeks ago. And it seems to me like the best deals, like the $5 off of a bag or whatever, actually happen at the end of September.
So that's like the wrong end of Halloween season.
I will agree to disagree. I don't think that happens as much. Like I understand that they're trying not to overstock. I absolutely get that part, but they are definitely still selling candy, and it's definitely still full price.
So they're not doing the discount anymore?
No,
It's
they're
not
not
as
doing the
big.
discount until like they need to. They like that's not how a good. Why would they unnecessarily discount when they don't need to? People, this is the demand peak, not the supply peak.
It is. It really is. And that's
Interesting.
what the stores have figured out. They don't have to discount after Halloween that much anymore. It's just they stop ordering it and their stock eventually sells out.
I mean, what you're actually buying, here's the thing. When you're buying quote unquote discounted Halloween candy or just regular Halloween candy, there are very few variants of candy that are actually like shipped and sold for Halloween and stocked for Halloween. What you are buying is the wrapper. You're buying the orange wrapper.
I feel like not
or the
just
pumpkin wrapper, or
It's
the
because it's
witch
a
wrapper.
giant bag of it, right? You don't find like a giant bag of 40 snack-sized chocolate bars any other time of the year, except maybe Easter. But that's it's not the same.
You kind of can, but they don't. Like again, it's not in high stock, but I think they carry it somewhat throughout the year. I feel like I see Shoppers has it a lot. Probably the larger grocery stores, but get your fill. You know,
Get your fill. Go out there. Get your candy.
Hell
Fill your
yeah.
Do what I do. I went to Costco and I bought a box of like full-size candy just for myself.
Nice.
damn.
Full-size bars. Here we go. Coffee Crisp. Kit
Yes.
Kats. Mars bars.
Oh my god. Do they have like full-sized packages?
They do.
Like
They do.
Halloween
It's a box.
packages of full-sized
It's not Halloween.
Oh, you
I
just
think
buy the
it's their
box.
standard stock.
It
Standard
is-
stock.
wow.
It's a box. It's 18 full-size chocolate bars, and it's like Mars bars, Coffee Crisp, Kit Kat, and Smarties.
I can't remember the last time I've been to a Costco just for the sake of going to a Costco, but I remember eons ago, I would go in there and they would have like gas-powered go-karts on sale.
Wait, what?
Angelo.
Yes.
Angelo. It's 2023,
Yeah.
my guy.
They're e-scooters now.
Electric
I know.
They're e-scooters now.
I know.
I saw e-bikes there over the summer.
Ubicus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they sell all sorts of recreational stuff. They sell
Oh, totally.
rafts
They sell good
and
gardening stuff.
kayaks and what do you
Tents.
call it? Paddle boards. Mm-hmm. They have all those things.
They
Damn.
do. They had kayaks for a while there too.
I don't have the purpose or the need for a Costco membership, which is why I've never really gone there in ages. But one of these days I should just get it for the hell
Come
of
with
it.
me on a magical tour of Costco.
Save on the gas. Use the Costco gas bar.
And experience the joy that is potentially the Costco experience for you.
So, on the topic of Costco, I don't know how we got here, but here we are. I do know how we got here, and we're going to stay here. So, Costco got a new CEO. There's someone that I believe was already in the company, so it's not like they're outside coming in. But one of the big things that people are looking at right now. So Costco is a publicly traded company as well. So like, and they're doing fine. I don't know why I know all this. It was just in the article that I read. But the only thing that really was catching my eye, the reason why I was reading the article, was because people were trying to speculate on the direction that the CEO would take regarding the hot dog deal.
Oh, right.
Because the hot dog
Oh.
deal, as I'm sure most of our listeners would be aware of, because Costco's hot dog deal is part of like contemporary culture. It's the zeitgeist of our convenience food.
You gotta have that $1.50
Yes,
hot
and
dog.
it comes with a drink, and it has been that way for something like 40 years. So 150
Since
used to
the
be sort of
inception.
experience.
Is the hot dog $1.50 in Canada too?
Yes.
Wow.
And that hot dog deal has been around for something like 40 years. Back when 40 years ago, $1.50 was not as cheap as it is today. Like, you can't buy anything close to the hot dog meal deal for $1.50.
Not even at IKEA. Not even IKEA hot
It's not even
dogs are
close.
this cheap.
No. So, with that being said,
I'm pretty sure Fammy Chicky costs more than $1.50. God damn.
it is kind of insane. I think adjusted for inflation now, it's supposed to be about $6, which is not like crazy even, but
Still cheaper than most
still-
burgers.
yeah, it's very cheap, pretty good deal. But everyone's looking at it because everyone knows that like their roast chickens, which are I think about $8, which is also below market value. Because most roast chickens at like Superstore or Safeway, they're over $10. It's their loss leader. But I think it's pretty cool that, I don't know, like in this day and age, there's like all Costco kind of gets it. They're like, we're a huge company. People really like our benefits of shopping here and the quality of our products, but we're still going to be like eating it on a $1.50 hot dog and pop.
Yeah.
We should go.
I
We
mean,
should go.
$1.50
I'm gonna
for a
support
hot
that.
dog. That can move
I'll support
butts. That can get people in the
Yeah,
store.
and $8 chickens will get people through the store.
Yep.
If you went with inflation, it was like, oh, it's a $5 hot dog. Well, that wouldn't really bring people to the store. I don't know if this still happens. Is there still like hot dog and sausage stands outside of like Canadian Tire, Home Depot on hot summer days?
There's a
Do I look
Subway.
like
I
the
haven't
kind of
seen one in
man
a while.
who frequents a Canadian Tire?
So I don't know about Canadian Tire, but the last time I went to Home Depot in the summer, they had a Subway stand out front.
I am once again like reaching deep back in time. Very frequently during the summer, my dad would be like, "Hey, Angelo, we're going to Canadian Tire. Let's go get some lunch." And we would legitimately like go do our shopping, go do the shopping, whatever the hell we were looking for in Canadian Tire. Every now and then, my dad would just be going to look. But the point was going to the
He had a
hot dog stand
child,
outside
Angelo,
the Canadian
to
Tire for
feed.
lunch. Exactly.
He nurtures for his young by letting him sip the gentle hot dog juice.
Oh, God. Hot dog princess. Gross. I do remember Canadian Tire, Totem, maybe Rona? When I was a kid, they used to have popcorn stands inside the store. So you would go and they would hand
Oh,
you a
wow.
little bag of
Popcorn
popcorn,
stands.
freshly popped off their little stand, and you would nom it while, mom and dad are looking at power tools.
I do remember that Home Depot and Totem specifically used to have free popcorn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a thing.
I never saw
I
this
don't
in
know if
my
Totem
life.
is a brand
Great.
out east, or like it was
I
a
don't think
brand.
so.
No, I've never even
Yeah.
heard of Totem.
Totem died in probably like around the early 2000s, I want to say. Early
Yeah,
mid-2000s.
I don't know why they went
All right.
under, but I was
Like,
sad
I don't know
about
if they
the
were
popcorn.
bought out specifically or just straight up sold and gone. But like, yeah, that was their branding. I remember seeing a few of them. They were definitely not as prolific as like a Home Depot, but they came around before Rona's. Mm-hmm. Were here.
Rona
before
was
Lowe's
still
were
popular
here.
out east, and they like moved out west.
Can I? I'm gonna give listeners a view behind the curtain for a moment.
Uh-oh.
So this is hilarious because we're like 15 minutes into the episode.
Oh,
Right?
no.
And we have like an itinerary that we don't necessarily always stick to. Like the itinerary is literally,
We really don't.
other than maybe news and like for sponsors in the past, we want to make sure we hit those points when we talk about topics. This is probably the longest we've ever gone not talking about anything that we have on the itinerary.
We had
it's
three
funnier-
things on the itinerary. We have not touched on any of them yet.
And it's funny because you'll like if we get there, you'll like what we're talking about. Probably.
Oh,
We hope that you enjoy what we talk about in general. But the other funny part is because
So really get back
Yeah.
a little bit.
hold on. While
Okay.
you two were gone and I had the guest host come in, and because they were super new to everything that we do, we stuck to the topics fairly heavily. We're like, we don't want to wander off too much because we don't know where we might go. But now, see, this is familiarity and seniority speaking in this role.
We're talking about hot dogs
Costco
and defunct hardware stores and old
and
Canadiana.
Halloween candy.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I feel like we drifted a little bit. Have they said anything about the $1.50 hot dogs at Costco?
There's
At
a lot
this
of
point, no.
speculating.
Yes, it's purely speculation. And if I had to guess, because I actually don't, I've heard in the same article, this article was very informative, they actually may not be operating the hot dog at a loss, but it's like super close. Like they've done so many things to make sure that they try to make any kind of money from it, or at least inhibit the loss, that they make their hot dogs. They source the meat and, you know, all that stuff. So
It's usually locally sourced too.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I think if they, I hate saying it because it's almost a betrayal, but I think if they upped it by like 50 cents to make it $2, no one would cry about it necessarily. Like they might cry on principle, but I don't think anyone would be like, yeah, that's an unfair deal.
I don't think anyone would actually be sad.
But I don't think
I
you could do
wouldn't.
$2.50 for some reason.
There's something about crossing that boundary, I guess.
There really is.
But that's why.
I still feel like in my
that's-
mind, $2.50 for a hot dog and drink
But the
is
thing
fine.
is that you ever notice how it's always $1.99, $2.99, $3.97?
Oh, that's how they get you.
They always just shy of crossing like an even boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if it went to $2, it'd be okay. Like if they crossed the 1 dot something, it would still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I get your point about it not exceeding $2.
I don't know why
As
it is,
silly as
because
it
like
is.
it's $1, like asking for $1 more at this point for a price raise, a price hike of $1 over 40 years of its existence. Like,
But have you
that's
have
insane
you
value.
noticed
But at
that
the same
they-
time, I just don't want to. I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, but have you noticed that like they've done other things to curb that expense, right? Like they
Yes.
put in self-serve.
Yep.
That didn't used to be a thing. You had to go line up and order, and then the person taking your order had to go make your order for you. They just have self-serve kiosks now,
They
which is
also have-
fantastic.
They also have, I don't know how much Canada gets this, but I know that like the Costco menu in the States or in other countries that they operate, they have like experimental food items or just like classier food items. Like I think they have something called like a chicken bake, which looks like almost like a chicken pot pie kind of deal. But that thing is solidly like $8 or $9. They're just things that they like actually price at value or like at market value, whereas the hot dog is like the god of deals, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Because like we have poutine, right? Like on
bang.
most of the Costco menus, and those are priced like normally. So
Yeah.
they're somewhere in the $8-ish, $9-ish territory, which, you know, okay. I'm okay with that. They actually use really good fries. They're like this nicely battered fry, and it's very good, very crispy, very tender on the inside. Very, very nice fries for their poutine. I'm okay with that.
Costco, from one small podcast in the corner of the internet, please keep your hot dog deal.
Yeah, we love you. Don't change.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but, you know, don't change.
I mean, I haven't gone there yet, but if you keep the hot dog deal, maybe.
Look,
I will.
Angelo, I already offered. You just
We
got to
should
take my
go.
hand.
We haven't had a podcast dinner this season.
The way that housing prices are, we'll all be eating Costco
We haven't
hot
had a
mean, you're not
dogs.
podcast dinner
wrong.
yet, so let's do that.
Yeah,
make it a
it's been a
Costco dinner.
Are we
while.
really going to make $1.50
Been a while.
hot dogs the podcast
It can be
dinner?
a field trip out to Costco.
Dude, it'll be the best value one we've ever had.
It would. It'd
True.
be cheaper than any of the Korean meals we've had.
Sure.
For real.
real.
For real. The value proposition is there.
Speaking of value proposition, I am still very hungover from Japan. I haven't slept normally, like fully normally, in the 2 weeks I've been back.
I have twice this week passed out in my chair.
Just like actually sitting up?
Yeah, I wake up looking for my phone and I see it's on the ground and I'm like, nani? And I'm just like, wait a minute, what time? It's 2 a.m. in the morning and I just woke up. My back hurts.
Oh, no.
It's that scene from like 28 days later where he wakes up in the hospital, nobody's there. He goes wandering the streets, nobody's there.
Yeah, it's almost like
I've missed my bedtime in Pokemon Sleep twice this week.
It's reminding me, it's giving me like Mila Jovovich feels from like the Resident Evil movies where every time she wakes up, she's like somewhere, she has no idea where she is, and she is in questionable circumstances.
Yes. So I need to do something about this. Later on today, I am going to a friend's house for some board games.
You're going to pass out at the board game table?
Some Halloween board games. And so I am going to stop by the grocery store before heading there, grab a bunch of snacks, getting like 8 Red Bulls, getting at least 10 4-hour energies or whatever they're called.
You're going to have a heart attack.
No, I'm getting like 2 energy drinks. I'm going to get like 2 energy drinks, and that's unhealthy as it is. And I'm just going to make sure that I stay up until like midnight or something.
Every day this week at about 3:30, this wall of sleep just hits me. And I got to make it all the way to 4:30. And then I log off my computer. I go sit downstairs. I look at my phone, and then I pass out. On Thursday, apparently, I just fell asleep for 2 hours. Yeah. Holding my phone, sitting on the couch. And Sean did not see a good reason to just wake me up. He also is not dealing well with coming back.
Like, jet lag is worse coming west, I believe. I recall when I was on my last trip to Japan that when I headed eastward, no issue. And I can't even tell you like, oh, I slept on the plane or like I did a bunch of trickery.
So you had no issue coming home?
No, going east.
Do you mean west. The Oriental East?
Other way around.
Japan is west from us.
Yeah, sorry.
There you
Japan
go.
is in the east.
Yes,
I head west. I head west. You understand?
Okay.
Thank you for catching it.
There you go.
So like going there, no problem. Like literally no trickery, no nothing. I just kind of went there, survived. And then, but on the way back, I was jet lagged for like 2 weeks straight. Thankfully I was working like a part-time job at that time that didn't require like a lot of scheduling ahead, and I could survive that part of my life. But I basically had to get hurt just to like snap my body out of jet lag. And I don't mean this like intentionally. I remember that this was like day, 9 of jet lag or something like that. And I was like, God, I'm still sleeping all throughout the day. Like, it's just so bad. I need to go outside and like find a way to wake myself up. So I decided to order like food from, there's like an A&W around the corner from me. And I was just like, I could have it delivered, but I need to go outside. And I'm just trying to, again, get some energy into my body. Mm-hmm. And I go out there, I grab the food, no problem. But on my way back, I think I was just super tired or, being clumsy. I tripped and I fell. And I literally like skinned the crap out of my knee and bit of my shin.
Oh,
but
no.
And that's not like a major injury. It sucks. Everyone's been there, right?
It sucks.
But it's not like, it's not hospital material. I'm not worried about it. But that shock.
Jay checks into the ER. Reporting symptoms of scraped knee.
Yes, and having contracted tetanus somehow.
Yeah.
Immediately taken into the OR.
I mean,
where
this fall happened on 17th Ave.
And kisses the boo-boo
This fall happened on 17th Ave. I could have gotten infected by many things. But
yes, you could
have. But yeah,
have.
like that shock to my body is what definitely got me out of jet lag. Like I think that like adrenaline hit and just body was like, what are you doing? You need to now be awake and tend to yourself and not be stupid. And that's how I beat jet lag.
My appetite still hasn't recovered either, though. Like, okay, so when you talk about jet lag and like changing around your time rhythm, it's a couple of things, right? It's sleep is one of them, but your appetite is it too. So I will find myself being ridiculously hungry in the middle of the night and just being like, no, stomach, I'm trying to sleep. No. I know it's the middle of the afternoon in Japan, but I'm not supposed to be eating right now. I need to be sleeping.
As a fat man, I have the wonderful skill of being ready to eat at any point during the day.
Wow. How can I gain this power?
It's not something you can learn from a Jedi.
Oh, God.
Use Skillshare. I use Skillshare. And you can use coupon code SHEEV to gain 20% off your first course at Skillshare. Again, not a sponsor, but one of my favorite stupid copy pastas. Well done.
So we
But food hasn't been an issue for me. Only
seriously,
sleep.
okay, I have had, like, my stomach just goes into overdrive at 2 a.m. and it's like, hey, you should be having lunch or a snack or dinner or something right now. And I'm like, no, I need to sleep. I have to get up in 4 hours. What are you doing to me? And then I'll spend a solid amount of time between 2 and 4 a.m. awake, and then I'll just be falling asleep again, and then my alarm goes.
Oh,
The worst.
the worst.
The actual worst.
It is. So back when I used to work night shifts, there is the easy way to reset your sleep schedule, and there's the hard way to reset your sleep schedule. The easy way is to just stay up for 24 hours. Like, you just power through it. Eventually you get through the sleepy phase, and you're now just in the I am dead to the world phase. And then you just vibe with that until your proper bedtime the next day, and then you sleep, right? It's miserable. It's awful. That's the easy way. What we are currently going through is the hard way, where you try to stay to your proper bedtime, you go to sleep at your proper bedtime, and struggle to stay asleep until you actually want to wake up. It is damn near impossible. Eventually you do get there, but it is the hard way.
Yeah.
And when you have a weekly schedule that requires you to be
Employed,
alert
gainfully employed
every day of the
Yeah.
week,
Yes. Participating in capitalism.
the easy way isn't always possible.
True.
And like it, so sleep and food aside, it's been a little bit of a culture thing too, because this happens to me every time I come back from Japan. Why is everything so dirty here? Was like the first one out of my mouth. It's like we get off the plane, we're at the airport, and I'm like, this airport's dirty. Why is the floor so dirty? Who's been here? Why isn't it being cleaned by sweet people every day? What's happening? And then I realize I can't just go down to a 7-Eleven and pick up like a cheap, nutritious dinner.
I
And then
tell
I
you,
pout about
it's
that
one of the
for a
most
while.
depressing things. You get out from Calgary International Airport, you go down the escalator, the first thing you see is a 7-Eleven off to your left.
And it has nothing I want in it.
Yep, it's not the 7-Eleven that we deserve. Except
There's
for
no,
Slurpees. Still
there's
love
no
Slurpees.
Calpico. There's no like hojicha that's hot or cold. There's no onigiri. Like there's nothing there.
There's no Tamago Sando.
Yeah, I know. The Tamago Sando is so... And, like, everything that I've conditioned myself to just rely on as an everyday convenience and availability in Japan is just, like, all of a sudden it's all gone.
I need, in the same way that I have honored Costco's CEO decisions so far, I need to speak with 7-Eleven's CEO and tell me, look, onigiri, I kind of get it. I mean, rice is not hard to make, and seaweed, also not hard to source. And the fillings, you figure that out.
You can have
You
locally
tell me why
sourced ones.
we have egg salad sandwiches in Canada. They're probably an American or at least a British invention.
Yep.
Why the hell
British.
can't we get a better Tamago Sando here? Who is
It's-
making those terrible decisions?
And like it's like the vast availability of literally no matter where you go, if you step into a cafe for dessert or an omurice or a kare rice place. It's all good. And it's all very, very well priced. So we come back, and I don't remember if I specifically talked about this on podcast last week, but in Ginza, there's just dessert places everywhere, and they're all amazing. There was a souffle pancake place we went to. There was literally a waffle place right next to that we went to eat lunch while we waited on the wait list for the souffle pancake place. Like, I had like a whole dessert day.
Yeah.
And I missed it so much. Like, today we woke up and I was like, I'm going to braise some pears. We are going to make waffles. It's going to be as amazing as it can be, dang it. And so we did, and it was great, but it's just still not the same.
We have croffles.
We have croffles, but they're kind of greasy.
I think it depends on where you go.
Like,
What is a croissant?
it's a croissant,
A croissant.
but you put it in a waffle iron.
A waffle maker. Croissant.
It's croissant,
Croissant.
but like we don't bake it first. We take the actual like croissant that's proofed, and then we just shove
Croissant.
that directly into a waffle iron.
Understandable.
It's kind of greasy, and I feel like everything I had in Japan was like the right amount of greasy. It was never overly greasy.
Maybe it's a type thing. Like, I don't know what the primary cooking oil is in Japan, actually.
I know they really like their butter, but for traditional things, they don't use butter.
They also use a lot of cooking spray, but we're talking about things like takoyaki and taiyaki molds.
Like,
and
it's
stuff
vegetable
like
oil. I just don't know what kind.
I just realized I didn't have any takoyaki.
That's
Bro.
a crime. I guess we're going back, Angelo.
Yeah,
Let's go.
man.
What the fuck did I do?
I have this little trip planned. You see.
So we're gonna fit into Jay's luggage.
Takoyaki.
I've only got 3 vacation days left for
fine,
the
you
year.
can work remotely.
Bro, your sleep schedule
can't.
is still booked.
Yeah,
so
your
use it
sleep
while you
schedule
still
is
can.
already okay, and so is your eating schedule. You're fine.
Yeah.
The problem is that I would get over there, and somehow my sleep schedule would just get fucked up on the plane.
Did you stay or go to Osaka, Angelo? Oh,
We didn't.
okay. Because like
No,
takoyaki
is the thing
and-
to get in Osaka.
Yeah. Also, oh my god, I can't remember the name. It starts with an
What?
O. It's the pancake.
Okonomiyaki.
is also
Okonomiyaki.
that, and yakisoba. Those are like the 3 big street foods of Osaka.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
And
sure that
you
one
go-
chef has ruined okonomiyaki for me.
You go to Dotonbori, and you just walk
Dotonbori,
down,
yeah.
and there's just taiyaki stands or
Everywhere.
takoyaki stands everywhere. Yeah,
Everywhere.
Nice.
it's a wonderful
some-
sight to behold.
We had some taiyaki.
I have so much more. So much more to do next time I'm in Japan. And the one thing that I want a better camera to document it
Yeah.
all with. And I mean a better phone camera. I don't want to hold a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So Nancy, you actually saw some phone stuff in
So
Japan.
while we were in Akiba, so Akiba is Weeb Central. There are
Ooh.
so many, like there's 3 animates like within walking distance of each other. There's 2 Ami-Amis within walking distance of each other. It's an amazing place. There's a Tamashi Nations right outside the train station. It's great.
It's
so
good.
cool. We saw so much stuff there. But as we were walking down the street the first day, so what happened was we got to Akiba a day before Angelo and Dio did. So that first day when we were wandering around, I noticed there was a whole lot of Google branding, and they were setting up Omatsuri. And I was like, what do you
Oh.
mean you're setting up Akimatsuri? What's happening here? And for those who may not know, Japan has a ton of festivals all year round devoted to very
festival for
different
every
things.
occasion.
So in this case, it was the fall festival, Akimatsuri. And so you go and you're like, what are y'all setting up? And the guy answers me in like broken English and says, Matsuri? And I'm like, yes, I know what that is. And he's like, Matsuri, Google Pixel ga. And I was like, oh, the Pixel 8 launched tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, that one. And so I'm watching them. They're setting up like game stands for games, because an integral thing of festivals in Japan is there are games to play. So they're setting up games for something. You don't exactly know what yet, because they're still putting all the stands together and all the Google branding, but you can see that it's Google Pixel branding, and it's just this beautiful stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll come back tomorrow. And they're like, okay, it's only happening for 2 days. And I was like, oh, okay, then I'll definitely come back tomorrow.
Interesting.
So the next day we come back with Angelo and Dio. There's a Google Pixel stand. It takes up like a really good chunk of a corner of this pedestrian walkway. And they have games for translation. So what we did a lot of whenever we went to shrines, Angelo, Dio, and I, we would go and ask the shrine gods for favor. What is the favor that you grant me for, X amount of indeterminate time? Sometimes we get really bad ones and sometimes we get good ones. They had the same game, a huge version of it. You shake a stick out and it has a number on it and they give you a fortune. But because they're trying to show off Google Pixel stuff that's exclusive to the 8 and the 8 Pro, these are fortunes that are all written in various languages, and then they ask you to use the Google Pixel 8 to use the translate function to tell you what your fortune says. Mm-hmm. Really cute. They also had like a game to do, like the matchy game where it's like, what's the differences between the left and the right?
Yeah.
It's the same photo, but there are differences. They do that game, but the game is that you take the photo on that Google Pixel 8 and you use Magic Eraser to erase things out of it until it matches the other one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh,
It's just like showing off the active AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole point of this event is they set up a bunch of fun festival games, but the whole point is that you use the new phone that they're launching and all the fun features on it to play a game. And at the end of it, they gave me a little card like, oh, here's a gift. And the gift is you go down to Yorobashi and they give you a Google Pixel tote bag or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was cool. But the entire time we were there, Sean just he had this really pensive look. Like he was enjoying the event for like just the fun of the event. But he was very seriously considering getting a Google Pixel 8. Because he has a 7 that he didn't get not that long ago, right? Like the 7 only happened back in
and
spring?
And the 7's a robust phone. Like it's a good
The 7
phone.
is a very robust phone. But the thing is he was keeping an eye on the launch because he wanted the new Pixel 2 watch.
Oh.
But if you get a Pro, the watch comes for free.
It does,
so that
yeah.
basically cuts the quote-unquote cost of the new phone down to about half.
Yeah.
And then you also take into account the fact that he got the 7 on a fantastic deal.
Mm-hmm. And he can sell
And
the
he can
7
still-
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he sprung for it. Like immediately after that, he was like on his phone ordering the Google Pixel 8 Pro and
Yeah.
getting a new phone and watch that just showed up earlier this week. But Jay, I heard you got a new phone too.
I got the iPhone 15 Pro. I did not get the iPhone 15.
That was my spit take right there.
No, yeah, I also updated to the Pixel 8 Pro. It's been a really good experience, very smooth, like transition over even from my 4A, which actually we all had at some point or still have. It's a good phone. I never updated to like a 7 or anything intermediately. I just went straight up to the 8 Pro, which is like a pretty big jump because the 4A or any of the A series of the Pixel phones are they're like
Light.
They're the budget
budget phones, but they're not bad at all. They're just
I'm still rocking the 4A and I love it.
I would say the reasons why I moved up from the 4A is literally I busted the screen on mine and it was still working, but it was no longer truly an intact phone. And I was like, this has a really short shelf life. Like I just don't know when that it's gonna fall off a cliff and not work anymore.
It could go at any time.
Exactly.
And the camera is like not that good. The AI for the camera, I shouldn't say AI for that specific camera. The software for that camera is pretty good, but the like actual hardware and software improvements in Pixel 8 Pro would be like massive. And the reason why I got it was just because I have my big trip coming up
And you wanted a better camera for it.
I actually wanted a bigger camera, but I am like not a photographer. I don't necessarily want to carry around a DSLR. I understand that those are better cameras, but that's not how I want to enjoy my trips, because I'm not trying to photograph the trip. I am trying to make memories of the trip. And that's actually something different.
Totally.
You know?
And Sean very much views traveling the same way. So when he got his phone, he was like, I wish I had this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so the timing works out super well for you, Jay, because you're going to be going on a trip after you get your phone, which you already have, and you've got it set up, and it sounds like you're enjoying it. Sean was going back through some of our photos that we took when we were in like Miyajima and going up the mountain, and a whole bunch of our like Nara shots, and just trying out the new AI edit mode where you can, like, it's not the same as the Magic Eraser.
Are you saying
it's
he took
like
photos of your existing photos?
He made new photos out of our existing vacation photos by editing out people.
Yes.
Like, he took out people because there's always a lot of people. There's always a lot of tourists. And sometimes you can wait for a long time to get that no tourist shot, or you can just take the shot and just go. Yeah. Like, there were a couple of times when we were walking around places at night. So there was one night where we went to Fushimi Inari at night, where the whole shrine is lit up in a bunch of places with lights. And there's this one walkway with lanterns that I really wanted a nice shot of. But I was like crouched down for 15 minutes waiting for like the perfect spot, just waiting. I'm just like, I just need that person to leave. And then that person would stick around for another 10 minutes. And like, I gave up eventually, and so did Sean. But he took some of those photos and he just edited the people out. And it's pretty passable. It's way better than the Magic Eraser. Magic Eraser still leaves like a bunch of, pretty obvious blotches behind.
Yeah.
The AI edit mode, it's actually really hard to tell.
Yeah. I think the AI edit mode, it probably, I don't know that much about like photography AI at this time. I know a little bit more about like AI generative, but I'm pretty sure like how it patches things out is actually really smart, because it has access to like millions, if probably like more, of like surrounding imagery, especially for things like the Eiffel Tower, Fushimi Inari, like places that are tourist hotspots, and they can just source so many like literal individual pixels, then just do a color match, and the patching is like, it's not difficult at all. And it's actually like such a quick process considering how much data is being sifted through to generate that, to help generate like the rest of that image. It's actually super impressive. And the other thing I'm looking forward to is, like you mentioned, the translating. I've already properly downloaded like the translate app and languages I need and stuff like that. But like, I've just tested conversational like Chinese just to see how fast it like rolls through the translation and how accurate it is. And I would say like I'd give it a solid 8.5, maybe even a 9 in terms of how fast it translates.
Yeah.
And we're talking about like we're not talking about a situation where it's like you and I are specifically, I don't know, in a little booth talking to each other. It's like in a room where there's going to be other people, background noises.
Yeah, you're in a restaurant.
Exactly. Like places where conversations take place. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to just speaking English and having Japanese come out.
So we did this thing in Japan where we were actually celebrating like an anniversary out there. So we went to like a ring shop where they help you make silver rings together, and you get to pattern it yourself, you texture it yourself. And at some point, the lady who was helping us, we had a question about the engraving. And so she literally just is like, hold on a second, like holds up her finger and is like, just wait a second. And she types out this whole long, very long paragraph in Google Translate. And then she translates it over into English for us. And we're like, oh, I understand. And like, none of it is something that I didn't already pick up from other things she had said, but she wanted to make sure that Sean understood. So it was just like a really nice, just in case, here is the translation of everything I wanted to say. And yeah, like it's incredibly common to see people randomly communicating with each other in Japan with tourists by using Google Translate. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it is a huge tool.
So I also got the watch for my pre-order bonus.
Nice.
But it also, the other option, again, Google is not a sponsor. The other option is like the earbuds. And I thought about getting them. I kind of regret not getting them because I don't really need a watch. I just picked the watch because it was like higher value and I could sell it faster. But
True.
I've heard that I haven't looked at reviews and I can't test the functionality. But I've heard like the translation app like feeding through your earbuds is also quite smooth. So essentially you can almost look like you're having a conversation with someone because you have like almost Star Trek like translation type, technology where
Google has reinvented the battle.
No.
right? Like, but that's like, that would be, if we ever like truly, and I think we're getting there, solidify even at least like verbal communication between all parties from all backgrounds. If you could just get that instant translation, it would be so cool. And it's so, I would hope, progressive for like society, just to be able to communicate like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it takes away the need to learn a different language, which kind of sucks. But
you know what
I
I would really love to see featured as a language in Google Translate?
There would be one very solid reason to still learn the language. But I'll get to that after Nancy says it.
I would love to see Cantonese, because as a language, as dialects go, that one is very underrepresented in most translation apps.
Okay.
Google's
So what I was
Google
going to say.
Cantonese.
It's Mandarin.
No, it has.
I don't see Cantonese in here.
No, I'm saying that you can. Sorry, Angelo, but just I'm not saying. I don't know about the translation part, because I didn't look specifically. But I can also tell you that Google has a Cantonese base because you can. I use text to speech Cantonese.
What? Where is this feature? I demand to see.
Do you use like the actual Google keyboard? And then you have languages. I'll show you.
I can't on my phone, but okay, cool.
So anyways, I was going to say, the one reason why you would still use or still learn the language over using like just Google Translate or some technological babblefish is that you would have a control over your tone.
Yes.
You'd be able to swear.
I think that in as the technology improves, you would be able to contextualize, for example, what's the idioms?
Idioms.
Like if you say,
common vernacular.
Yeah, like things like the early bird catches the worm, that might not translate into like that's probably a pretty common one, so they probably catch that. But I'm just saying, like, if it literally says the bird eats worm in the morning, it's like in French.
What are you talking about?
Then it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But if the idiom can be like the early bird catches the worm,
translated into another idiom.
Yeah, it translates either into a relevant idiom or it goes, the metaphor is like maybe it has to explain it, but that's still better than people going like, "What are you talking about? That is why'd you just say birds catch worms?" Like, yeah, okay, cool.
What do you mean? Darmok and Jalad on the ocean? This makes no sense.
It's true.
Dalek with arms wide. It's okay, so it's basically like being able to translate a culture that speaks in meme. Like if I think one of the biggest
generation.
Yeah. So like the biggest problem with cultural contextualization in that case is that meme culture moves along at a pretty quick clip. You'd have to stay culturally up to date all the time. Mm-hmm. And because the internet is everywhere, like if a meme originates in Japan or China or Canada, it may or may not reach all audiences everywhere, but it's still an applicable part of or a reference point for the people who do get it.
My favorite thing in meme culture is how over the course of about 10 to 15 years now, we have seen in real time a full-on image evolve to cuneiform.
Oh, God.
And that is loss.
Loss.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Loss.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You can take loss.
It's been
you
reduced
can
to,
draw a
like,
couple
8
lines. And
Yeah.
everyone understands what you're talking about.
Well, not
Yeah.
everyone. I think
Well, no.
I think Zoomers
The
don't
literate
understand.
people understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The learned
literate
people.
The
people.
learned. I was there when
The
the
higher
old
people of your
magic was
culture.
written, which do not recite it to me.
I was there before it was a hieroglyph even.
I read that comic before it became a meme.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember like checking Control-Alt-Delete every day, and I was seeing this
It
comic,
was
and I was
so-
like, "Well, this is a little bit out of character."
It was so out of it was so like Control-Delete was actually quite a large part of the collective consciousness of nerddom in like 2002. You know?
Yeah.
And then it just
Like, it was-
literally the guy got tired of doing the comic, couldn't find a way out, ended it probably in the weirdest way possible, and taking something that was such like it's not a light subject matter, right?
It's not.
That wasn't the end, though.
It was the cultural end of that.
It was the cultural end, but no, they did not mean for that to be the end of the comic.
No, because they rebooted
Eventually,
it.
they retired the main cast of
Yeah.
Ethan and what's his face and
Lucas
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and girl. I love that we just end girl.
Well, I can't
don't
even remember the guy with the black hair.
But they have
name.
rebooted it to, I think,
Have
at some
they?
point. I looked at it, but it's
Well, they rebooted it as like player 1, 2, and
Yeah,
3
yeah.
and 4.
Interesting. Okay.
I haven't followed it in a long time, and I'm not
That,
gonna
even
Me
that
neither.
was like 10 years ago.
remember VG Cats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember
I
Mega
still
feel like-
reference VG
remember?
Cats a lot.
I feel like the only webcomic I remember even from that era now is XKCD. It's the
And
only
they're
one
still
that keeps
going.
Penny
And
Arcade.
still relevant.
Something that came way later, but actually has a dear place in my heart is Saturday morning breakfast cereal.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
still
yeah.
going. I'm fairly
I
certain.
feel like it's like XKCD, but just with better art. And
Yes,
and
100%. I agree.
and they tell stories sometimes, whereas XKCD typically likes to explain concepts.
It like to explain concepts or just get out a cheeky joke.
There is
Yeah.
definitely a punchline to every XKCD.
Yes.
Oh, Mac Hall.
Mac Hall,
Loved Mac,
Mac
Hall.
Hall? I don't
The
remember.
Mac
artist-
Hall was amazing.
the artists of whom were guests at Otafest back in the day when we started doing guests.
True. And we also have, sorry, but there's another Canadian webcomic artist that I haven't thought about for a long time, which is like Clone Manga. They had some really
Manga.
controversial comics, but the art style is really unique.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying
That was
the
a
art style is good.
throwback.
Yeah.
This last 5 minutes has been a really big throwback. Wow.
Yeah, this is the jet lag of our lives. Nostalgia is the
This
jet lag
is the
of
jet
our
lag
existence.
of our lives.
Yes.
Yeah, excuse me while I go cry into a kabocha and try and recreate all the cuisine that I had earlier this month.
Ah, seasoning the kabocha with tears.
Yeah.
The
it
true
helps.
peak of culinary perfection.
Yep.
That's going to take a while, so I think we'll hear back about this kabocha on next episode of
Indeed.
Otafest Podcast.
Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.